Hello, welcome to our channel. Grid provides many knowledge management support to development partners. So many times, development partners don't just turn up to us asking for an impact evaluation or for preparing a report or for designing a baseline inline evaluation. They do ask us to help them out in providing strategic inputs as to how they should manage their programs, their projects, or their knowledge products, whatever they're generating on the way. And for doing this, we use a range of frameworks and evaluation and learning approaches. One such approach is the SOAR analysis that we do. SOAR is strengths, opportunities, aspirations, and results. You might have heard of SWOT analysis. In this video, we shall talk a bit about SOAR analysis. The SOAR analysis is a strategic planning framework that we use to help organizations build, first of all, identify their strengths, and then build on those strengths so that if they could align it properly with their objectives, they could obviate their weaknesses. So you can identify and leverage your strengths to an extent that your weaknesses become irrelevant. Now, in the SOAR matrix, what we see is we have a column called, we have a box called the strength box. That means what can we build on? We need to identify what exactly this organization has already been doing pretty well and can go on repeating or even improving further. The other one is your opportunity. That means what opportunities exist in terms of the demands of the stakeholders, in terms of the external environment changes, or whatever new features come out in the ecosystem as this organization goes on operating. Here you have aspirations. Aspirations are like every organization has a vision. A vision is basically a long-term commitment, like a long-term scenario where they want to arrive at. But there could be short-term, like of course there has to be short-term vision which builds into that long-term vision. So in the medium to short term, each organization gets very excited to do certain things. So what are those things that they would like to go on doing, repeating, and they deeply care about achieving these particular small milestones or goals or aspirations, as we call it here. The fourth quadrant is about the results. Now, if we talk about aspirations, we can't just be in a utopia or in a frenzy. The aspirations must be result driven. That means we must be able to identify what exactly we are achieving as we keep on doing. So sort of we need to be able to measure things. Now, if you look at these two segments, this one and this one, these are more or less internal. These are internal features. And if you look at these two things, these are external. That means a SOAR analysis helps in taking into consideration both internal factors as well as external factors. So now, suppose we're going to look at the SWOT analysis. Now, that's yet another framework that commonly we use in our analysis of an organizational environment. There, what we get is we have strengths, we have weaknesses, we have opportunities, threat. Many times we call it a SWOT analysis. We use challenge and structure. Now, in this kind of an arrangement, you'll see that these are internal factors and these are external factors to the organization. Now, SWOT analysis is a very effective tool when we want to understand the environment in which an organization is operating. So there are certain internal features of the organization and some features which are beyond the control of the organization, like the external features, opportunities and threats that would arise. But if you look very intently at this framework, it is a cross-section. So it just gives you an idea of what exactly is the situation today. But when we look back at the SOAR analysis, we'll realize that, of course, the strengths are current features. Opportunities keep arising in the external environment, but the aspiration and results, these are forward directed. So these components would be forward directed. SOAR analysis gives us not just a situation where we are not into problem finding, but we are more into like appealing to the inner strengths of the organization, and that too take it further into the future vis-a-vis the opportunities that come our way. Now, how do we measure results in such situations? What we do is we write down a couple of key results. So 1, 2, 3. We usually do not go beyond 5. So 4 key results. If these are achieved, then we say that the organization is on the right track. When we talk about aspirations, this is like identification of strengths, opportunities, aspirations, and results is a group activity. So what we do is we convene a group meeting where we have the internal team members come up. And at times, we also get a chance to invite some external stakeholders as well, because external stakeholders will help us in identifying the opportunities. And these are opportunities. That means these are what the stakeholders also expect us to come up with, like to leverage. Many times opportunities cannot be adequately identified by just internal stakeholders. So if we have external stakeholders, they help us in identifying the opportunities in a better way, in a more rounded way. So that's why we prefer having some of the external stakeholders come and talk to us about the opportunities. And that also ensures that we have buy-in here. And with external stakeholders reflecting on our core strengths, many times we are not aware of our own strengths. So if you have external stakeholders come in, they may be able to highlight, okay, this is one thing that we see very unique in your organization, which we keep on working with other partners, but we don't get to see as much. So that helps us in better exploration of strengths and opportunities here. Aspirations is more or less an internal phenomenon, but then you have to have buy-in, because senior leadership and on-ground staff may not be aligned in terms of their aspirations. So here you have to have buy-in, and results brings in a lot of accountability. So if we are committed, now, SOAR, if you reflect, SWOT is more like a fault finding mission. So you end up finding some kind of problem with the organization. We talk about weaknesses and threats to the organization. It's more of a defensive sort of approach as well. But SOAR is a very proactive, positive vibe building approach. So the teams get very excited when they know about their strengths or their aspirations. They get very driven, and that creates a positive institution environment. So doing a SOAR analysis helps in pepping up the team motivation or enthusiasm, and that's where you get very avid commitment and goal drivenness within the organization. So if we agree on the results, then that makes it very, very accountable. So that means if we are talking of results, there has to be a timeline. So these are time bound results that we want to visit and see if we are in the right direction or not. Now, all this looks good, but then every framework has some limitation or some issues with it. Now, what is the limitation of the SOAR framework? Now, if we look at the strengths, organizations have to, many times, in order to leverage the opportunities, build some internal strengths. So strengths have to be worked upon. Many times we identify that, okay, we are good at it, but still we can be even better at it. So it will require some kind of investment or brainstorming or capacity building at times. Aspirations, they also keep changing. Many times aspirations have a risk of being overboard. So aspirations have to be attuned to the results. So if we have a long list of results, that means our aspirations are not aligned. But if you have a limited list of results, that will help make it very tangible. And at the same time, you can prioritize the aspirations on which you want to bring in alignment of the team. The other problem with SOAR analysis is SOAR analysis looks at opportunities with an aspiration and strengths lens. That means many times the opportunities that the organization sees may not actually be relevant to the external stakeholder. So this runs the risk of being less customer centric. So customer, that means client. Suppose we are talking of public health programs, then it's the beneficiary. Opportunities does not adequately or deeply explore the demands of the market. So the market forces are not adequately explored in a SOAR analysis, in a SOAR framework. Still, a SOAR analysis has a very optimistic approach to things. What usually are SWOT or PESTEL or other gap analysis, needs assessments, those things point out is there is a problem with the system that we have. But SOAR analysis says that you are not the problem, you are the solution, and you need to find the problem where your solution fits in best and appeals to you, so that you are absolutely committed as a team and very much driven from within. Now, SOAR analysis comes from, it's a concept that borrows from appreciative inquiry, and there are books, there are websites on appreciative inquiry. This is something that I'd request public health people to look at. At the same time, we are trying to develop this playlist on monitoring evaluation tools. Gradually, we'll be talking about different frameworks. If you feel that this was relevant, do punch in your request of any particular framework you want us to talk about. Many thanks for bearing with us through this video. Thank you so much.